During the fighting in the Lyman direction, another Russian occupier surrendered to Ukrainian defenders. Moreover, as it turned out, the prisoner is considered an elite of the army of the Russian invaders because he is a special agent of the GRU, the main intelligence department of the general staff of the aggressor country, according to Obozrevatel media outlet. The soldier from Penza was in the ranks of the 3rd Brigade of the GRU. This is Ivan Musatov, born in 2006. His story about the elite of the occupation forces was published by the so-called Mykolaivsky Vanyok, the host of the most popular Ukrainian Telegram channel. The young man from Penza told a lot of interesting things about both the army of the invaders and the GRU special forces themselves. According to him, Russian soldiers have to buy literally everything, like uniforms, with their own money. The commanders of the invaders pay no attention to the age, professional skills, and military training of their subordinates. Everyone is stormtroopers. That is, meat for the meat stormtroopers. In the elite, that is, in the GRU special forces, everyone is the same, young and inexperienced, says Ivan. According to him, there are practically no ideological people among Russian soldiers. The vast majority, like myself, signed contracts for money. And in general, he says, all that remains of the GRU special forces is the name, and in essence, nothing serious. The special forces were captured, as he himself believes, by accident. Their group of 14 soldiers was supposed to occupy a supposedly empty landing. In fact, there were only 12 invaders in the group. They came to the landing and there were Ukrainian soldiers there. Ivan surrendered because he wanted to live. He was surprised that he wasn't killed, and now he doesn't advise his fellow countrymen to sign a contract and fight with the Ukrainians at all. The so-called GRU Special Forces are special forces units that were created during the Stalinist army in October 1950. However, they became separate elite units 15 years later. The military doctrine of the USSR of that time stated that in the event of a military conflict with NATO, the GRU Special Forces should be the first to defend the homeland. The training of GRU Special Forces correspondents to the mission of his military unit, and the task was to appear in the immediate vicinity of enemy command posts, air bases, and other strategic facilities, conduct reconnaissance, and if necessary, destroy the facility, Obozrevatel says. Separately, GRU Special Forces are trained to disrupt communications, energy supplies, destroy transport communications, sow panic, and create chaos in enemy states. But despite all the elite nature of the Russian Special Forces, more than 90% of the combat personnel of this army structure of the occupiers were destroyed in the war in Ukraine, as reported recently in Poland, Lithuania, and Germany. Special services discovered a large group of GRU agents who organized and planned to carry out several terrorist attacks in various European countries.
Palestinians in Gaza's southern city of Khan Yunis were weary Monday after a fragile ceasefire faced its first major test when Israel launched a wave of deadly strikes the previous day. According to Associated Press, Israel accused Hamas militants of killing 2 soldiers in what it said was a breach to the ceasefire. Sunday's strikes killed dozens of Palestinians across the Strip, and pushed the U.S. proposed ceasefire aimed at ending 2 years of war to the brink. Palestinians feared war would return to the famine-stricken territory where Israel cut off aid for over 2 months earlier this year after ending the previous ceasefire. Hossam Ahmed, a Khan Yunis resident, said that he remains terrified, as Israeli forces still control parts of Gaza, referring to the buffer zone controlled by the Israeli military in southern, northern and eastern Gaza. He hoped that there would be an eventual Israeli withdrawal from the Strip. Only then, there won't be fear, he added. On Sunday also, the Israeli government announced that aid deliveries to Gaza were halted, a decision reversed hours later when the military said it resumed enforcing the ceasefire, including the resumption of aid deliveries. The brief announcement caused prices to hike amid concerns that aid delivery is threatened.
لازم يكون في خوف من الايام الجايه ما دام الامور ما انحلتش ولسه الامور في خط اصفر في خط احمر وفيش انسحاب اسرائيلي. طبعا لازم نكون متخوفين. احنا بنبطل نخاف لما يصير انسحاب اسرائيلي يرجعوا للحدود الاولانيه، هيك بنسحب بنخافش.
كل يوم نسمع اطلاق نار، كل يوم نسمع ضربه، كل يوم شهداء مدنيين. يعني اليهود في اي لحظه يتم اختراق. يعني اليهود مش هيسيبونا حتى واحنا كمان في الاباده، مش هيسيبونا في حالنا كمان. من ناحيه الاختراق هيكون اختراق كل يوم اختراق من ناحيه الجيش الاسرائيلي.
احنا نوقف نزيف الدم المباشر هذا، تكفي اللي فقدناه كثير، تخوفنا من التجار الفجار. للاسف الشديد امبارح في ثانيه واحده السكر ارتفع، البضائع كلها ارتفعت بشكل جنوني. الناس بتستغل فينا قاعدين، فاحنا ناس مش مؤيدين للحرب خالص، فاحنا بدنا الهدنه تضلها شغاله ونتمنى من الله تضلها شغاله، لانه تعبنا، احنا نفسيا تعبنا، عايشين على الركام، عايشين على هذا، فيش مكان ان نقعد فيه، فاحنا ناس تعبنا.
احنا قالوا لنا هدنه وبدنا نرجع، كنا نزلينا من المي ونزلينا القعده والسقعه وطلعنا يعني عشان نرجع غاد نحس في امان. ما فيش امان، فيش امان، مش عيش اللي عايشينها هذا. والله ما هي عيشه، والله ما هي عيشه. يعني قتلوا الناس، ما صدق الناس رجعت وعاشت في خيام.
A video footage has been released in social media, showing the Ukrainian drone attacks on Russian troops involved in the killing of several civilians in Pokrovsk city of eastern Donetsk region. The video captures the moment of Ukrainian strikes on various Russian positions. Russian troops can be seen attempting to flee in panic as Ukrainian drones are being fired. Ukrainian troops intercepted and eliminated the Russian sabotage and reconnaissance group hiding in one of the buildings at the railway station in Pokrovsk. The group infiltrated the center of the city and killed several civilians near the railway station. A woman and an elderly man were among the killed. Another woman was injured in the attack and was evacuated from the area. The 7th Air Assault Brigade reported that the defense of Pokrovsk has been reinforced with additional forces. Over the past 2 days, Ukrainian forces have eliminated 14 Russians who had managed to enter Pokrovsk. As a key logistical hub, Pokrovsk remains one of the most fiercely contested cities along the front line in eastern Donetsk. Russian forces are launching assaults from the south, southeast, and southwest in an effort to cut off Ukrainian supply routes and potentially encircle the city. Ukrainian forces are working to stall the gradual Russian advance toward Pokrovsk to stop them from pushing further into Dnipropetrovsk region. Despite being under constant pressure, Ukrainian defenders continue to hold their positions through counteroffensives, drone strikes, and defensive maneuvers, though territorial gains remain limited. Last Thursday, the General Staff of Ukrainian Armed Forces reported recapturing 182.8 square kilometers of lands and clearing another 230.1 square kilometers of Russian sabotage and reconnaissance groups in Pokrovsk. The General Staff, according to the General Staff, said stabilization efforts and counter-sabotage operations were underway in Pokrovsk city and its surrounding areas, alongside active defensive actions across the district.